Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This video tutorial is for students who are in Geometry Goal 3. We are well past the halfway mark and are starting to round out any leftover topics that are necessary in order to get ourselves up to 85%. So first things first, this is a misnomer. What we're actually going to be dealing with is the coordinate plane. In my terrible handwriting, this is the coordinate plane, so let's look at some topics. So first things first, this is kind of a no-duh thing, and you probably already got this right in the initial knowledge check when you were first testing it. But what you're doing is you are drawing whatever given coordinates you have, making your shape, and then determining what it is. I mean, right here, there's only 3 coordinates, so we already know coming in it's a triangle, but now we just need to label it. So x is 5, y is 3, and then you have -2 and 5, and then you have -2 and -4, and there is your triangle. Pretty simple. Over here we have -1, -7. We have -3, -3, -7. I have an idea. -3, 0, and then -1, 0. Yeah, we have a perfectly made rectangle. Let's see here. Just to keep an eye out, because there are a couple of shapes here that you might have seen in middle school, but you just don't remember. So, triangle, triangle, let's see here, parallelogram, which means these sides are parallel and these sides are parallel. Then, if you get really fancy and you start introducing some right angles, let's see here. Let's say about like that. Then you have a trapezoid, So that means you have one set of parallel lines, and then most basic of basics, you have a rectangle. And then if you can do it, let's pretend that Ms. Dubois can do this successfully. If all sides are congruent, you have a square. Rectangle, you have a bunch of right angles, same as you do for a square. I think those are all the major shapes here. If you find any that you don't actually immediately recognize, let me know, as always, down in the comments below. Next, finding coordinates of vertices of polygons. This one, when I teach it to kids, they always look at it at first and go, wait, like, what? Here's what's happening. The distance from here to here is t, right? We have to go a distance of t starting from r. So this here is going to be r plus t, okay? Next up, I'm starting at 0 and I go up to s, so s is pretty straightforward. This is the part where kids get a little bit stuck on, because what's happening is you're starting at 0 and you're going to t, but you're actually going up, Ms. Dubois, a little bit further, and that little bit further is defined by your r, because there's your little bit further. Over here, same idea. So if we have, this is a rhombus, so we know all sides are congruent. That was the other one, rhombus. So a rhombus is a square that is smushed. Rhombus. I knew I was forgetting one. So if this is G, then this is going to be negative G. This is negative F, so this will be F. So this topic comes in a couple of flavors. I couldn't grab all of the permutations, but that's the kind of logic that you are looking to do when you see this topic. All right, I don't usually recommend this. Some kids really struggle with it, but others find it really easy, so give or take. Over here, now we have a new phrase again, to be similar. Similar means that you have the same shape, but different size, That's what that means. So these two triangles, and instead of, if congruent is an equal sign with a squiggle, to be similar is to just have the squiggle. So we're told that 50, 100, and now we have to find all of these angles. Well, you gotta match them out. So if this is 100, where does it match? Angle y. So the measure of angle y is 100. Let's see here. C matches x. So the measure of angle x is, what was it? 50. And then angle D, what's 180 minus 100 minus 50 is going to be 30. So the measure of angle W is 30. So yet again, much like we've been doing in earlier parts of this chapter, it's a matching game. Over here, 15 corresponds to F, so the measure of angle F is 15 degrees. 95 is the big angle, so the measure of angle E is 95 degrees. And then what is 180 minus 95 minus 15? So that's 101, 110. So this angle is 70 degrees, which means that's match. The measure of angle D is 70 degrees. All right, next up, last one. Determine whether a triangle with the given sides is a right triangle. And this leads us into what the next video is going to be about. We're going to be talking about the Pythagorean theorem, which is, as everyone hopefully knows by this point, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So what you're doing, c is your hypotenuse, so that's always going to be your biggest side, which means here is my c. So the question you are asking yourself is, does 18 squared plus 32 squared equal 4t squared? Okay, so now we got to know what each of those are. Give me a second to pull up my calculator. Knowing that, we're doing, let's see here, 18 squared, which is 324. Next, we're going to do 32 squared, which is 1024, and then that's 1600. So does this add up to 1600? It will be 1348. So not a right triangle. Next, we're going to do it all again. So now we have 8 squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. Now, my Algebra 2 kids, they have an advantage here because somewhere in your Algebra 2 notes, you have the list of numbers 1 through 20 written down in your notebook. And I told you guys to memorize your perfect squares 1 through 20. That was usually written by me in your notebook. So 8 squared is 64, 15 squared is 225, and 17 squared is 289. So let's see here, 9, 8, does 289 equal 289? Yes, this is one of our Pythagorean triples. All right, next up, 12, 16, and 14. So 12 squared plus 16 squared plus 20 squared. So that's going to be 144 plus 256. And does it equal, Ms. Dubois? 400. Let's see here. Yep. So that's a right triangle. Next up, what do we have? It is 6 squared plus 7 squared equals 9 squared. My instinct tells me no. Let's see if I'm right. 36 plus 49 equals 81. So that's going to be 85. So this is a no. And that's all you're doing for this, is just plugging it into the Pythagorean theorem. Know that your biggest number is your C, and then set it up and see if it works. So over here, 100 plus 121, does it equal 225? No, it doesn't. Let's see here, 30, 40, 50, that one does. I'm cheating for a second because I know that. 81 plus 169, does it equal 256? Let's see here, 0. No, it doesn't, so not a right triangle. And then 15, 36, and 39, those numbers are a little bit big for me. 15 is 225, 39 is going to be around 1600. So maybe, let's double check. So let's see here, 15 squared, nope, 15 squared is going to be 225, 225, oh, duh, Ms. Dubois, you knew that. What's 36 squared that you're trying to do, which is 1296. So 1296. And then you want it to be 39 squared. So 39 squared is 1521. 1521. So let's see here. 1, 2. Oh, it is 1521. Hey! And those are your basics for the coordinate plane. There's only 2 videos left before we're done with goal 3. I'll see you in the next one. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe.